Quick audio test. Right, hello and welcome to the stream. Right, yeah, audio test is all good, so I think we are good to go today. So, just getting the flight sim up and all that kind of stuff, so should be underway quite soon. Just waiting for our flight sim to load in, and once it does that, we're good. So, just need to check the desktop audio, which isn't actually working. It's not bringing it up for some reason. Cool. Lovely. I don't know why it's not bringing the sound panel thing up, but it's not. So that's lovely. Right, battery can get on. I'm actually getting any sound. Here you go, there's a small bit of sound now being picked up. Right, display capture and FSX overlay, and then turn that off, and there we are. So, right, today's quite a good, quite interesting little flight actually. We are flying out to Innsbruck. So we know that's a difficult approach. As I said, on ProjectFly, you get an achievement for flying into Innsbruck, so that's cool. Today's stream might be a little bit longer than some of the other ones we've done. Right, because of... it's two reasonably long flights, so it might be a little bit longer than usual, but no more than an hour and 20 minutes. So, VFR, why don't I select this by habit? Bolzano to Innsbruck, VFR direct. Fine route, this is saying 16,000 feet. I reckon we can follow the valley for the first part, and then after that we'll have to gain altitude and to make it over into Innsbruck. Obviously, Innsbruck, reasonably big airport. So it'll have ATC and that sort of thing. So that's interesting. Right, let's get Skytrack open. I'm just arranging all my tabs. So they're all good. Right, that's fine. So let's get GSX up, and I selected the wrong view. We want to go to locked spot view. Lovely. Right. Oh, and set parking brakes. And we want to request refueling. Our group, I guess. And we want to start flying club flight on here. Right, the battery's set up on the plane now. Let's go ahead and get the other systems of the plane set up. So it's the alternators, is it? It's not the alternators, it's an avionics switch. That's the ice. There's definitely a switch called avionics. And it turns on what you get. There you go, the avionics master switch. That's it. For now, we'll go up to 6,000. And after that, we'll proceed to go up a little bit higher. Let's say just as 10,000, because I know we're going to be needing to go quite high. 11,000, say. 70% of fuel, that's normal. Altitude of Innsbruck is 1,900 feet, so it's not too high up an airport. 47.7 miles. Hopefully we can get a good landing in today. It'd be lovely. Get the clock up on my yoke to remind me to start it later. Quite high, 11,000. There we go. Making sure the audio is working. I'm just moving over the sky track so I can have a place for my phone on the monitor. There it is. So there we are. That's all good. So what we're gonna do now? What runway should we depart from? Let's push back this plane first, and then we know what we actually want to do. We need to start the engines. Flaps 1. And here we are pushing back, so and in terms of streams this week, we've got no stream on Friday or tomorrow. I'm not planning to do any streams, so it'll be today, and then Saturday we're flying from Norwich to Bristol, and then Bristol on to Edinburgh in the A320. It looks like taking runway 1 would probably be the best bet for today. So we're taxiing. Right, let's have a look outside then. Which way is runway 1? I'm not any good. That's runway 19. So actually, because we're going off in that direction, wouldn't it be better? There you go. Now I've moved, it's set up the GPS properly, and now I know I want to be heading out that way. So as I said, I'll try and get quite high up, even though we're just following a valley for the first part, because then it gets a bit more hilly, a bit more mountainous, and we don't want to have problems. So we're departing north. So we're going to taxi right down to the end. And then go for it. That's the plan today. Just absolutely go for it once we set off. And then in terms of Innsbruck, we have got a localizer 2.6 approach that I could activate. There's no other approaches. I'm probably not going to bother with an approach since we are again flying VFR, meaning we can only use minimal instruments, and it's not, you know, we want to do as little as possible when it comes to following in-flight instruments. We want to do as much as possible hand flying and visual. Obviously, the rules with VFR, if you have, the way the flying club works in Fly UK anyway, that if you have the equipment, you can use it. So obviously this thing has a GPS, so I can use a GPS, but it does advise no following the pink line. If something gets in your way, you move around it. Don't just follow the pink line and go higher. It's boring. You need to do it visually. You need to do it properly. So, but apart from that, there's not much really. So, yeah, we're going from Italy into Switzerland, and then from Switzerland, we're staying in Switzerland today. No, Austria, not Switzerland, Austria. But I keep thinking Innsbruck's in Switzerland. I have no idea, because it's not. It's in Innsbruck. No, it's not in Innsbruck, it's in Austria. Innsbruck is not a country. Is it a city? I think it's a city. Whatever it is, it's not a country. Right. Right, we line up. But yeah, so we're staying in. I think we're going. I can't remember what the airport we're going to later is called. But I'll look at that later on. Right, off we go now. On flight FCAP 14, leg number 14 of the Alpine Valleys Fly UK tour. $80 knots. And about 100 knots, maybe we want to try and rotate about now. Yeah. Well, this thing doesn't really like rotating that smoothly. Gear can come up now. Right, I'll try and hold it around the 1000 vertical speed mark. And I have control of the autopilot as well. Right, it looks like we're not going to be able to stick to that valley I was thinking about earlier. Because of how I've ended up going, unfortunately. But it looks like the terrain around here is actually quite light, so we should be good to stay like this. Obviously, the valley I was planning on following, it's a bit of a sharper turn than I thought, straight out the airport. Not really suitable. Right, start the clock there. It's only 30 seconds late, so we're fine. I need to ignore the squawk code, actually. I didn't do that. Got this saying it'll be a 20-minute flight. That makes sense. If we can stick with that, it won't be too long a stream than normal, but I highly doubt we can say this. This one's a 48-mile one, and then the next leg is the 60-mile one. Obviously, Innsbruck is a fairly big airport. We will have actual commercial flights in the area. There you go, look, 2,400 feet we're just passing. That seems good for now. It's when we start running into terrain troubles is when we don't want to, you know, that's what we don't want. We don't want terrain troubles. But luckily, I think until we start hitting the higher ground, we've got quite a bit of time to go upwards. So there's 2,800 feet. Looks like we're going to have to get over these mountains up ahead, but hopefully we'll be high enough by the time we reach them. Quite a nice little scenery around here. Quite nice bits of scenery. And we're getting back on course now. We're about 1.5 miles off course currently because of, obviously, if I was to go over there, we'd hit the whatever it's called, the mountain. That's what it's called. It's a mountain. I've forgotten what a mountain. You know, I can't remember what a mountain is. It's amazing. That reminds me. Actually, I need to get up the Fly UK tour. I think it's a good idea, isn't it? So, no, that's the wrong page. Fly UK Flying Club. Right, they going back into this now for a bit. Right, tours, Alpine Valleys. Oh dear. And it looks like we've got a little bit. If we turn to the left, we've got a bit more low ground, and that'll also help us get back on course a little bit. So that's good. So that, yeah, Zal am See. That's what the next airport is called. And we seem to be handling this quite well. Passing 4,000 feet now, 4,400. If we can stay at this altitude, I'd love it, but I somehow don't think that's going to be possible. So we'll have a look. Coming up to 5,000 feet now. And obviously we will contact Vienna Centre, we'll get a prompt for that. I'm guessing it's over the border, so obviously Milan Centre is Italian, Vienna Centre is Austrian. And then here we're going to turn right, and we'll be back on course then. And we'll have a look at the terrain that we face ahead, and decide, because it doesn't appear to be that much large terrain, so I might actually be able to not go anything above 7,000 really, which would be nice. We'll have to see how it looks when we turn this corner now and we look ahead really. Again, I might have to go slightly off course here because I'm not going to make that massive hill. We're going to need to go around it again. So just as I was meeting back up with my original course, we're now going back off course again. Lovely. I think 9,000 will be enough though on this trip. That's 6,000 there, look, so I need to turn, I think. Unfortunately, to go a little bit off course, because we are not going to make that mountain up there at just 6,400 feet. We are not high enough to clear it. So we are now going a bit more off course. We're about 2.5 miles off course, but it unfortunately is the best we can do really with what we've got. And then we'll have to just join back up with it later. So turn here. And we're just following this along really, as much as we can. And hoping, I think, partially. Just hoping that I can make it over some of these tips up here, I think. Which at 9,000 feet we'll be able to. It's a shame this thing's so slow to climb, really. Like, really, you can't go any more than 1,000 feet per minute, otherwise it just crawls. It's not great at climbing, this aircraft, that's the problem. And we are now at 3.5 miles off course. It's not great, 3.5 miles, but we're able to join back up with our course now once we pass over this peak. And we will have to go all the way up to 9,000, I think. 8,000 just won't quite do it. Maybe not. Better safe than sorry, really, with this. But we are now going back towards our original path. Going back towards our original path, good. And it looks like 9,000 feet will clear pretty much most things in this area. So 9,000, I think, good altitude for now. And until for the rest of the trip, really, I think it'll do. It'll do. So up here, and then we're joining up. I'm going straight on as far as Innsbruck. And Innsbruck is now within a 30-mile range, so I can contact them and tell them that I want to land. So and they told us that they want us to fly in runway 8, and we are already pretty much on course with runway 8, which is good. So, and there you are, we've reached 9,000, yay! So runway 8, we want to be, I want to aim for this valley over here. I want to aim for this valley and then make our way in. That's why it's such a challenging approach at Innsbruck. You have to follow that valley, which could be difficult. In a small little plane, luckily, won't be as difficult. But that is obviously why it's a challenging approach. So we want to go. So right now we're on the right side of our flight path. We actually want to be slightly to the left of our flight path. So I'm currently flying basically diagonal to our flight path now. Speed's increasing a bit now, which is good. I can't hear any other planes on the tag currently. There will definitely be, I know EasyJet fly there, BA fly there. There's a good few airlines that fly into Innsbruck from around Europe. Eurowings, I'm pretty sure, fly there. So we should be good. We're still 3 miles off course though. So that's what we're trying to do, look. Head completely in the wrong direction almost for Innsbruck. Unfortunately, it's very mountainous round here. So we might have to follow our route. I think this valley here looks like the best one we can do. And I think we'll get over all of this as well. This stuff over here is what we won't get over at 9,000. The airport's only at 1,900 feet though. I think the airport is like in a valley, isn't it, really? Airport directions. So let's have a look where the airport is, and they should tell us. They're 12 o'clock. Okay, so we are directly 12 o'clock of the airport. So we do want to be a little bit... We want to be more like 9 o'clock. No, not 9 o'clock. That's too far. About 10... Between, basically halfway between... We want to be half 10 o'clock. Half 10 from the airport, roughly, is where we want to be. Somewhere between 10 and 11, basically. So we can make in runway 8. How much fuel we burned? We've got through... We started on 70, we're already down to 64. We won't need more fuel down in Innsbruck, so we're good. But yeah, luckily the terrain starts to even out a bit now afterwards. After this, look, it does start to even out, so we're good. We're safe. Watch me crash into a mountain now. We're safe, the captain says. Yeah. Excellent. Maybe I could have done with 10,000 feet in this bit, possibly. Because I'm heading back away from Innsbruck again. Which is not exactly what we want. We don't want to be heading away from Innsbruck. Why couldn't they give me runway 26? But luckily, after this, like, it goes down again. So I can go back to where I want to be. Whoa, a little bit of turbulence just hit the plane then. Or at least it felt like a little bit of something there. Right, turn left now. Let's turn left, so we're heading across from the airport, like that. And the airport should be somewhere down there. Quite close to the land here. Doesn't look like we're going to have particularly any more problems. I'm going to have to start descending now as well, quite soon, unfortunately. 5,000 will be 3,000 of the airport, which is pretty good. Because I have to go down. I can't not go down, unfortunately. But obviously I don't really want to go down yet. We want to stay about this altitude so I can fit through this this little bit here. Oh, we're gonna just squeeze through that. That's tight. Perfection. And it's much lower now. All of it, so we can actually start. I should have descended a little bit later, just a teeny bit later, and it would have been perfect. But oh well. And then the airport should be down there somewhere. So I'm going to make an approach to the airport and then turn left and bank round into the airport, I think is the plan. I'm not sure how much of that will actually work. Right, I'll put this into 10 nautical mile range now so I can see a little bit more of the terrain that I'm dealing with here. I want to follow this down, turn left and then loop round, I think is the plan. Sounds like a good plan. Might not actually be a good plan. Wait and see. So it'll involve flying past the airport, turning round and landing. That's my plan. Whether my plan actually works, we'll wait and see. This is why I like VFR flying. This is a simulator, so if it goes wrong, who actually cares? It's a simulator and big deal. Getting a bit too much speed here. I'll throttle back some more. We've used £51 of fuel so far. Not too bad. That's according to Skytrack. Right, that looks like Innsbruck Airport, so let's turn left. That's not a challenging approach. You're on runway 26 by the looks of it. It's not as challenging. But I think runway 8 might be a different story. So we need to turn to the left. We're down at 6,000 feet now. So we are succeeding in our task of landing in time for Innsbruck. Actually, this approach doesn't look too challenging either. Apparently, it's quite a challenging approach, Innsbruck. Maybe this because it's a little teeny VFR plane. Maybe if I was in a big massive A320, I would feel totally different. Because obviously an A320 is probably 10 times the size of this little teeny bird. I mean, I can literally see the wings from where I'm sitting and the back of the plane from where I'm sitting and the front. I can see the whole of the plane pretty much. Which is how small the plane is. So there's Innsbruck down there. So we want to turn left and then loop round, don't we? Is basically what we want to do. We've been cleared to land, which is cool. So that's good. That means we are good enough to land. Clearly. Don't know how. So there's the airport there. We'll loop down. So we're now roughly 2,000 feet from the airport. Go flats 1 now because we want to slow down the plane. And we're getting further away from the airport as well. Set 3,500. Want to go down a little bit more. Right, now I want to turn the airplane, not the airport. What am I on about? And that's where the autopilot can come out. Whoa, that altitude sensor just went a bit mad, didn't it? And that's where the gear has to come down now. Well, has to, it should. I don't know why. There's actually a feature to request airport direction. Like, unless it was super foggy, I don't know why you'd use that. And we have a GPS, so I don't get why you'd use it anyway. Right, we are on course to land well here. And this plane is making a dive for it. Cool. That's just what FSX does, isn't it? Plane. Sometimes I do wonder about the physics of this plane. I mean, I'm literally like if you just let the nose, if you let the yoke go, like the plane just starts instantly doing a nosedive. Like, why? Why is it just randomly doing a nosedive? Right, I've throttled back now. Seems to make this plane a little bit easier to fly almost. I don't actually see any planes on the ground here. I mean, it's not very busy at the moment. I don't know. It's nice to have a proper big main runway we're landing on though, isn't there? It's not often that happens. I like the scenery here as well. On course for a pretty good landing here. Oh, never mind. -497. Absolutely shocking landing. Whatever, it's a small little plane, who cares? Right, when should we turn off and where, and more importantly, is that doesn't look like any kind of stands over there. That's the passenger terminal over there. And then, oh, these are the GA stands, I think. These look like GA stands over here, so we'll occupy those. Stop the clock, 20 minutes, not bad. Yeah, this is the GA parking over here. Or at least it looks like it. Hopefully it is. And there's absolutely no planes here whatsoever. We want a taxi to park in. So this is the GA parking, which means I've got it right. Wasn't a great landing that, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Glad we're on the ground. And the next flight's actually a little bit longer. Probably won't actually need GSX services here. Right, and there we are at the gate. Engine 1's off. Engine 2's off. And that's it. So I can stop recording on Skytrack. And there you go. That's leg 14 complete. 56 miles we ended up flying. Right, complete that. Complete the flight on here. Good. Cool. And there's the notification to pop up. Look, we did it. We got to the achievement, challenging approach Innsbruck, which is cool. Right, let's dispatch the next flight. That should now pop up on OBS for you guys. Or not. There it is. It's up there. It took a little bit of time to pop up. So there we go. Right, check all the rest of this sort of stuff. Yeah, now we're off to Zell am See. Is where we're going. So let's go to Flight Planner. And we're going from Lowy, which is Innsbruck, down to Lows, which is Zell am See. Hasn't even got a 3-letter code, this one, so it means it doesn't have a terminal. Very small airport, but it looks like we're going to be just straight over. I can't really see the route. It looks like we're going to be straight over mountains. Doesn't look like there's going to be much of a route for us. We'll try and get out over these mountains, this valley here, while we gain altitude. That's the aim anyway. So let's, I guess, go. Start flying club flight. This is all started up, so we can go. Nice quick time. Actually, how much fuel have we got on board? 62%. That's enough for the flight. And it looks like we'll be departing east. That's 1. Runway 8. So we're gonna have to we are gonna have to depart off runway 8. That's actually a good thing. I don't know whether that's a good thing. Well, actually, yeah, it is a good thing. And then go. Because we landed on runway 8. So to be departing on runway 8 is good. Means we are heading in the direction of the valley where I want to go. And hopefully this time I actually manage it. Right, I think 9,000. Let's have a look at the altitude of where we're landing. 2,500 is the altitude of where we're landing, so that should be good. Plane up there. Yeah, there's no planes on the ground in Innsbruck. I honestly thought there would be a few. Obviously not. Yeah, in fact, it even says there, look, 26 is that side of the runway. Oh, that's why, because we're going the stupid way round when I can just do that. just go this way. Why don't I just go this way and then turn around there? That seems a lot easier considering there's nothing coming into land. I guess the game's got some algorithm that's like don't use the runways as taxiways if you can't help it, maybe. I don't know. It's probably something like that. Although it doesn't matter because there's no traffic whatsoever around here. And it saves us time, so. Because we can turn around at the end of the runway. Actually, we could have just taxied along there. That also would have been a lot easier. But, whatever. That's just this game for you. And they want us to hold short here. And we've been cleared to take off anyway, so back onto the runway. This airport has quite a nice long runway, so good opportunity for us to get some speed up. Right, initial pass set on here. And off we go. Oh dear, this plane's rocking around a little bit. power is set. Connect to 100 knots now, and let's go. There's about 1,000 vertical speed. Gears coming up. And we'll set a vertical speed today of 1200. Why is the vertical speed going like that? I'm not even asking why the vertical speed's doing that. But I appear to have control of the aircraft, which is good. Yeah, so we'll try 1200 feet per minute to see if we can get just a little bit faster response out the aircraft. And start the clock again. I was slightly late on the clock again then. Unbelievable. But if we can try and get to about 10,000, if we can try and get to like enough height to cross the mountains before we actually reach the mountains, save us a lot of time. Right, I'll try and stick with our flight path for as long as possible here.
Innsbruck Departure, Beach, Oscar, Echo, Mike, Alpha, Delta, this type, Beach, Barren, 4 miles.
And I think doing 1200 feet per minute instead of 1,000 feet per minute will help us with that.
Squawk 3241, Beach, Mike, Alpha, Delta. Beach, Mike, Alpha, Delta. Radar contact 4 miles east of Innsbruck, 3,800.
Why are we having Morse code beeps? Seriously, there you go. I don't know what was tuned then, but that's kind of odd. That doesn't normally happen. Sounds like the Morse code beeps you get when you tune the ILS in an A320 or something. Not normal. I haven't tuned to any sort of ILS frequency. There's no approaches at the airport. I don't think it's a particularly big airport, the one we're landing at, somehow. I really don't think it's that big. Or if this thing was a bit quicker at, you know, ascending, it's not very quick. It would make, you know, especially in hilly areas like this, it would make taking off just a little bit easier. So according to this, landing time should be about 20 past 8. Not bad. So this meaning this stream will be just over an hour. It was planned to start at 7:15. I started more like 7:18. Slight delay, but you know, it's not too bad, is it? It's not too bad. It's doable. It's enough. It's good. It's okay. We're currently 0.2 miles off course, which is absolutely fine. Doesn't look like we're going over any particularly hilly areas on this flight, but obviously just go up to 10,000 to make sure everything's all good. Because 10,000 seems like a pretty decent altitude. Passing 6,000 now. 6,000. So we're flying up. Coming up to 7,000 feet now. Not bad. Speed is still at about 147 knots. There's no terrain ahead of us right now that I don't think this plane can cross. Currently, hopefully that stays the same for the duration of the rest of the 19 minutes of this flight. Be absolutely lovely. if that remained true. I have to wait and see on that one. We're still on Innsbruck departure, despite the fact that we're actually quite high up and we're at least 13 miles from Innsbruck now. There you go, we've been flying 12, so we're 12 miles from Innsbruck. Innsbruck's way back there. So I guess that is still within departure range, but... And it seems setting it to 1200 feet per minute hasn't really affected the aircraft that much. I've noticed this, as soon as we get to about 8,000 feet, the speed of the aircraft starts dropping off quite a bit. Like, it does definitely do that. I can go back on the vertical speed now, though. Because it's not as important for us to climb like crazy anymore, like it was before. We're just passing 8,400 feet now, so not bad. And it looks like 10,000 will easily be enough to get us to the end of this flight. So we're coming at 10,000 a week, that's 9,000. And 9,000 even looks enough to get over half this terrain, but I want to make sure. So we'll go to 10,000 anyway. We're not within range of the air traffic control for this airport, so can't do anything about that. Like I said, there is someone on Innsbruck Approach, look. So they would have been landing there eventually. It just doesn't look very busy, so there are planes at Innsbruck, it's just not massively busy. It is midday, I think most of the flights, it's more of a holiday destination a lot of the year. So it's more about early morning flights, really. (9,600 feet now, so we're basically at 10,000 like we planned, and we are on course by bang on, really. And there we are, going on to Vienna Centre now. Between Vienna Centre, contact Vienna. So here we are, at 10,000 feet. (39 miles away, so at this speed, 20 past 8, we would be landing into Zal am See. And there's no mountains right now that pose a threat to us, so we can sit back and relax a little bit. And I right-clicked. That crashed the game then. I'm actually scared of right-clicking on FSX now. Weird. So where are we now? We're 0.03 miles away from our flight path, so perfectly bang on, really. 36 miles away, so within the next 5 to 10 miles I will be going on to ZLMC traffic once they appear in the nearest airport list. Currently they're not on there. So currently 200 knots cruise speed, so I can ease back the throttle. Actually, no, let's just go full power anyway. I can't be bothered. It is pushing back our ETA, pushing forward our ETA slightly, which is nice. 58% in the fuel tank, so we've got plenty of fuel. But the plane will be a little bit lighter when we land, which will be nice. In terms of the next stream, we'll be going from Zalamsi to Anabichel, and then from Anabichel to Ljubljana. We're actually doing a 75-mile flight next stream, and then it's a 26-mile flight into Ljubljana, Croatia, I'm gonna say, from that flag. I'm probably wrong. Slovenia, completely wrong. There you go. I'm not great with flags, if I'm honest. And then, so there's a couple, and then, so literally now we've got this stream, one more, which will take us up to Ljubljana. The next one will take us to Kapfenberg, and the next one will be the end in Vienna. So there's not too many streams left for this particular one. There's 11, so it'll be 11 episodes in total we would have made this into. There was, 10 episodes had 2 flights in them, 1 episode had 1 flight in it. The one with 1 flight in it has already happened, so we won't have to do that again. Happened when I had the glitch with the PMDG a couple of months ago now. Nearest airport list, Zalamsi, cool. They have a tower. Okay, that's good. So make straight in runway 8. We're already heading that way anyway. Nice to see they have a tower though. They're obviously not a teeny airport. Do any airlines fly there? I'm going to have a look now on World of AI, which is the package I use. WOAI, airports, and this should tell me. So we're flying into it's LOWZ. Nothing flies there at all. What about Innsbruck? I'm interested in that. Louis, Air Malta, Austrian, Fly B, Finnair, EasyJet, as I thought. No BA. But there are a good few airlines that use it. We just didn't happen to see any. But nothing uses Zalamsi. Not even, because that also lists general aviation and helicopters and that kind of thing. And literally nothing visits it at all. So they have a tower, but they're a T in the airport, obviously. Otherwise, they would have some sort of. They would have other planes flying there. These ones. What's the point in getting a tower there now? But just 22 miles away now. I need to start. You know what? Let's start descending now because we're following a valley now, so we can start descending down to about 5,000. It's at 2,500 feet, the airport, so 5,000 will do nicely. Because now we're in a valley, it doesn't really matter quite as much. And we're going to be in that valley for the rest of the flight as well. I mean, on a flight where we just follow a valley, the cruising altitude would be 5,000 anyway, providing the valley was at that sort of altitude. But at the end of this valley, that's where it is, basically, by a lake. So I can really see why this tour is called Alpine Valleys. We've had mountains, and there's also been a lot of valleys that we've been following on these routes. So I can definitely get where they got the name from for this tour. I'm actually doing 230 knots now. We've increased speed quite a bit, which is cool. So just 17 miles away now, 4 minutes this is saying, because of how quick we're going. I'm definitely pushing this plane a bit. 237 knots. I've never seen this thing go so quick. That's 8,000 feet there. Actually, I'm going to go to 6,000, not 5,000. I feel like 5,000 is a bit low for this kind of altitude for now. 6,000 is a bit better. "13 miles. Can't see the airport yet. There it is. Actually, I can see the airport then. You know what? 5,000's good enough then. I thought it might possibly have been. Where's that body of water? I must not be able to see it. I thought it was behind there, behind that little hill, but doesn't appear to really register on my map that well. My terrain map, right? It's quite a nice, simple approach to this airport. It's what I like. Take a nice screenshot of either wing. Nice. "6,000 now we're passing. Perfect. 6,000 perfect. Going a little bit off course, but obviously I want to do that. I want to line myself up with the runway. Go down. We'll go 2,000 feet directly from the airport, which is 4,500 feet. And then I can start taking control of the aircraft a bit better. We've just been cleared to land, actually. It's not a massive airport, despite the having a tower. It's really not massive. That's the wrong. Hey, I was putting up one of my levers. I was like, hang a minute, why are the flaps next to it? Because I'm pressing the wrong one. Right, autopilot's coming out. Gear can come down now. As we are just 4 miles out. The first flight, look, 48 miles it should have been. Took 20 minutes. This one was 60 miles, and it's actually only it's 17 minutes now. I did start the clock in roughly the same place on both flights, so it's quite interesting that. It's because this one's been nice plain sailing, and the other one was a little bit more crazy, our route and all that kind of stuff. I have a bit of a smaller runway now. Back to the smaller runways where we might have to brake a little bit sharp and just hope for the best. Really, it looks like the terminal side of the airport is actually the back of on the other side, basically the side that we're landing on. So we're gonna have to back taxi down the runway by the looks of it. And they'll probably have a ground if they have tower, even if it's the same frequency, which it probably will be. Don't know why I'm switching between the views so much. Not needed right now. I'll power the plane up a little bit, actually. I could do with it. Could do with a bit more power. slightly high. It feels slightly high, but then it's the trees in the way. I think we're going to crash through the trees, but then we're going to end up being quite good. These trees really need to be cut down. Like, they're right on final. Those trees. It's a bit dangerous, really. Minus 696. That's probably the worst landing I've ever done, ever. Oh, I've missed that exit.
Mike Alpha Delta, exit runway when able.
Well, the stream hasn't had. Neither of the landings were what I'd describe as being excellent. So, oh well. Turn the flight directors off now, actually. And stop the clock there. 19 minutes, 40 seconds, so 20 minutes. So the first flight was 20 seconds over 20 minutes. First flight was just over 20 minutes, a couple of seconds over. This one's a couple of seconds under. So who would have thought the longer flight actually ended up being shorter? Right, taxis are parking. So just following the taxiway markings. Hello everybody and welcome to ZAL MC. That is flight FCalp. Oh, oops, sneezing. That is flight FCalp 15 finished. Skyways 15. Then flown from Italy into Austria and then Austria again into Austria. This tour will be finishing in Austria, but next time we'll be going into Slovenia, cut the flights inside Slovenia, back into Austria for the final legs of this tour, ending up in Vienna, and that will be it. 21 legs, Nice to Vienna, all throughout lovely Alps. So, and that, we probably won't complete this now for another couple of weeks. No more of these VFR streams this week. I'm not doing them on Thursday or Friday. Remember, Saturday, going from Norwich to Bristol and then onwards to Edinburgh in EasyJet's A320 aircraft. And that's about it, really, for this week. And then next week, I'm not exactly sure what I plan to do. If I'm streaming, I think I'll probably be streaming. Not sure what I plan to do yet, so I'm hoping something to do with the 737 though. I'm thinking in South Africa with South Africa's low-cost subsidiary airline Mango. I quite like their livery. I've got a downloaded copy of their livery off the PMDG Operations Centre, and I think I'd like to give a couple, do maybe 1 or 2 flights around there. So we don't often do flying in other parts of the world. Did US last week, so back to the UK this week, and then South Africa next week, hopefully. If that all goes to plan. I haven't looked at the routes yet. I will do that probably next week. But that's it. We're parked up. So engine number 1 is off, and engine number 2 is off. Mixer control right down to the bottom, and alternators can come off. Avionics master switch and the battery off, and that is it. This plane. Turn off my GPS now. That is our plane fully on the ground here in ZAL MC. 55% fuel. We start with 70, so this we didn't use too much fuel. Pretty fuel efficient, this plane, clearly. So we can finish up the 5K, cross that off, and then complete the flight on here. Cool, and just look at it's basically just a straight line, our whole flight, total straight line. Awful landing, I'll have to be honest at that one. But yeah, all happy. We've done so many private flights since last week. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago we did the JetBlue. Why didn't I do a Saturday morning? I forgot I was busy last Saturday morning. That's why we didn't do a Saturday morning stream. And that's when we flew to San Jose and back. Right, cross that off. And that's about it, really, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this stream. I don't think we've had many viewers. What we had, let's have a look. We We've had 3 playbacks, not bad. Average watch time 43 minutes, not bad. So no issues with stream health today, which is cool. Go ahead and end the stream. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.